Hi, my name is Mark. Everyone calls me Charlie. So I worked in a research facility in South Wales doing medical research. I was put on furlough the end of March, and after 3 months I was made redundant. Now currently unemployed. 4 children. We all had symptoms back in March, and we were all ill one by one. It was horrendous, especially for me because I had childhood asthma. We all recovered. None of us went to hospital. My asthma was controlled with medication. Other than that, I was fine. I still got a few issues now, mainly with my chest, but that's to be expected. That happens even after I get the flu. If I get a dose of the flu, it can put me out for a few weeks with chest complaints. But no one died. I got another relative who's a nurse who was tested positive around the same time, same symptoms. She was sent home twice to stay home for 14 days. I went back to work, and she works in a COVID ward. But the way I see it is this: I would much rather get back into interacting with people. We have to protect the vulnerable. There's no doubt about that, and I'm all for protecting the vulnerable. Excuse me, I'm just I got something to do in a bit, so I gotta go. Yeah, we protect the vulnerable. That's not a problem. But the thing is this: if the deaths are not that high, if people are becoming unwell and staying home and getting through it, then why are we having a lockdown that is doing more damage than the actual virus itself? People are coming out of work, people are being laid off, businesses are going to the wall every day. I've got friends who own businesses and they can't survive another lockdown. They can't. They'll go completely out of business. I got another friend is a hairdresser. He's got to close his shop. He can't take anymore. He can't cover his costs. He's going to work from home. It's the best he can do. We're all barely surviving. And the damage through lockdown, we have to assess the results of lockdown versus the results of herd immunity, or whatever you want to call it. But I really don't see, if people are sensible and we don't have a lot of deaths, why are we doing so much damage? Because this does feel like it's the reset that has been talked about many times. It does feel like that. But we're like sacrificial lambs at the moment. For what? I would much rather take my chances, get back to work, start interacting. Right? The economy's constipated. We got no creativity. We got no business. Businesses are struggling. I mean, you can't see any way forward. There's one theory, and I forget the chap's name, but you can find it on Talk Radio. He used to work for Pfizer, and he's saying that we've gone through the worst of this. It didn't kill as many people as were expected, and that there's no need for further lockdowns. We just need to be cautious. If we get high death rates, then fine. But we haven't. So why are we doing this to ourselves? We're shooting ourselves in the foot. The mental effects, the mental health effects, the stress being put on people is worse than the bloody virus. I'm sorry, but it is. And most people who have died from this have been of a certain age, the overwhelming majority, and they've already had illnesses. And we won't go into that. You know what I mean. Any sensible person can work it out. But I want to see an end to this, because I'm starting to think that there is something, there is an alternate, an alternative motive to all this. I'm not one that jumps into conspiracy theories, but you have to ask yourself, when you look at the stats, the death rates, the infection rates, and people going into hospital who've been in hospital for 10 days, getting tested when they go in and they clear, it's a negative, and then 10 days later, before they leave hospital, saying, no, you must stay because you've tested positive. So they quote her in hospital. But they're perfectly fine and want to go home. They'll say, I'll self-isolate, but they keep them there. Things like that. And then that goes down and there's a COVID admission. Well, it's clearly not a COVID admission. It's just little things like that. It's none of this is making sense to me. None of it's adding up. And I'm sorry, but I'm racked and stacked with doubt and mistrust of this government. I mean, wow, the BBC. I've stopped watching it. It's just rubbish. It's just total, it's mind-numbing rubbish. Do you know, without the media, without the BBC, without, social media, you can't have a pandemic. Do you know what I mean? It's like the joke about the Amish, why don't the Amish community worried about COVID and because we don't watch television. There you go. That's it. That's my little rant. Anyway, peace. Peace. And I tell you what, look, when people are saying stay safe, but you know what? You're not safe if you're not looking out for each other. If you're not supporting businesses, if you're not allowing people to get back to work, then you're not allowing them to stay safe. You're ruining them. You're ruining their lives and you're ruining their futures. Okay? Sleep well. Adios.